Long ago, an ancient Hebrew poet, contemplating the beginning, said this in words now found in Genesis. In the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. The earth was without form and void, and darkness was upon the face of the deep. And the Spirit of God was brooding over the face of the waters. And God said, "Let there be light." And there was light. Let there be. And we were and are. Centuries later, on far different shores, another poet, a preacher to be precise, a slave preacher here in America, late 18th, early 19th century, preached on that first chapter of Genesis that our astronauts read from. And that sermon and sermons like it that were handed down in slave fields of cotton was finally put in a book called God's Trombones when James Weldon Johnson created poetry from their preaching. And in one of those poems, The Creation, the old preacher read back and interpreted what Genesis was talking about and told the story of creation and said it this way: and God stepped out on space and looked around and said, "I'm lonely. I think I'll make me a world." The insight of that old preacher, whoever that was, captured something deep in the text and poetry of Genesis, that this is God's world, that we are here because the great God Almighty looked back and said, "I'm lonely, I'll make me a world." That deep in the fabric of this creation, we are a part of it, not the sum total of it. Or to put it another way, it's not all about us. We are part of a greater whole, part of God's world. And God stepped out on space and looked around on the vast nothingness and said, "I'm lonely. I'll make me a world." Old singers used to say it this way: He's got the whole world in his hands. Y'all know that song? Yeah, he's got the whole world in his hands. The truth is, we were made for a relationship with God who created us, and relationships with each other as children of the one God and who created us, and relationships with this world, this creation that God has made. And God, I'm here to tell you, folks, I know y'all didn't come here to go to church, but I gotta tell you, God made this world because God actually loves and cares about it. And if you don't believe me, ask Jesus. If you don't believe him, you got a higher authority to answer to. But Jesus, in John chapter 3, verse 16, Jesus actually said, God so loved the world that he gave his only son. The Greek word that the New Testament uses to translate world in that text is the word cosmos. God so loved the cosmos that Christmas happened. The truth is, we were made for God, each other, and this whole creation. He's got the whole world in his hands. He's got you and me, sister, brother, in his hands. He's got the little bitty baby in his hands. He's got generations yet to come in his hands. In 1968, 3 human beings summoned incredible courage, mounted on great wisdom and knowledge, and flew to the moon. And 250,000 miles away from home, they almost, I think, I wasn't there, but I read about it, I think almost by accident, beheld something that no human being had ever seen before. They saw the earth rising from the lunar landscape. They saw it. And they fumbled around, I guess, I don't know. I mean, they had to fumble around and find the camera, and then they took a picture, but that was black and white. So they had to find the color film, and they put the color film in, and they got it in, and they thought the earth had disappeared, and they got another picture, and they got a picture the first time we had seen Mother Earth rising. And I wonder if when they saw it, and then later we saw it, and when they read from Genesis, I wonder if God kind of gave a cosmic smile. And I wonder if God said, now y'all see what I see. God says y'all, it's in the King James Version of the Bible. And I wonder if on some level, God whispered in their ears, behold, behold, the world of which you are a part. Look at it. Look at its symmetry. Look at its beauty. Look at its wonder. Look at it. Behold your world. Some have said that that was a moment that changed human consciousness forever. An article in The Guardian in 2013 said, and I quote, that up to the time when we first saw that picture of Earth rise, we humans thought the Earth was just the thing beneath our feet. And in that picture, we beheld a world of which we are a part, not the whole. Others have said that that photograph was one of the 100 most impactful photographs in all of human history. Others have said the environmental movement to save our planet had its key inspiration from that photograph, that reading of Genesis 1, the spirit of Apollo 8. Every few years, the Archbishop of Canterbury summons the bishops of the Anglican Communion, of which the Episcopal Church, of which this cathedral is a part, to come to Canterbury Cathedral for a period of prayer, mutual consultation. We gathered the last time in 2008, some 800 of us from every continent on this blessed planet Earth. We gathered at Canterbury Cathedral, and we prayed, and we studied, and we debated and discussed, with each day being set aside for a particular topic of faith and life. One day was devoted to the church and the environment in the world. And we were invited because we were bishops from every country on the face of the earth virtually to consider the impact of change in our climate, on our lives, and on our cultures and our world. Many of the bishops from the Southern Hemisphere had much more to say than we from the North and the West had at the time. I remember bishops from Tanzania. One spoke of, as a little boy, looking up at Mount Kilimanjaro and seeing the snow-capped peaks, and now looking up, and the snow-capped peaks aren't what they once were. I remember bishops from Zimbabwe and Zambia, once the breadbasket of Africa, now saying that the droughts and the growing seasons are diminishing, that the world, something is changing around them. But one bishop struck me in particular from the Pacific, from the South Pacific, from the Pacific Isles. He was the then bishop of the Solomon Island. He stood up in our small group of about 40 bishops, and he introduced himself as the bishop of the Solomon Islands. And when he said that, I remembered President Kennedy, who inspired the Apollo missions and the mission to the moon. I remembered as a little boy going with my daddy to see PT 109. And for some reason, I remembered that when their boat was shipwrecked in the midst of battle, that they went to the Solomon Islands and found dry land. The bishop of the Solomon Islands stood up and then said to us, "You who are American, you have the power. Please help us. Our islands are sinking. Our governments are in consultation with New Zealand and Australia to figure out how to save the people of the islands when the ocean rises and the island sinks. Please, we need your help. We need your knowledge. We need your strength. We need your help." And then he said, "We have been your friends before. My family saved your president, John Kennedy, in the Second World War. And now we need you to save us." My brothers and sisters, we are part of one world. As Dr. King said long ago, what affects one directly affects us all indirectly. We are tied in inescapable networks of mutuality, bound together in a single garment of destiny. You will hear later in this program the words of Sir Richard Attenborough, who said, and I quote, "If the greatest legacy of that first flight to the moon was the very discovery of the earth, then maybe our responsibility to that legacy is to protect this earth, our oasis among the stars." My brothers, my sisters, my siblings, may this commemoration be a moment of reconsecration and dedication to mount on eagle's wings and fly, to explore new worlds, to seek out vast knowledge, and then to mobilize the great knowledge of science and technology and the wisdom of humanity, to mobilize it now to save this oasis, our island home. So, from this 50th commemoration of Apollo 8. Good night. Good luck. Merry Christmas. And may God bless us all on this good earth. He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 Y'all want to join me now? He's got the whole world in his hands. 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 God love you. God bless you. And may God hold us all in those almighty hands of love.